First question would be, if you could just tell us a little bit about why you have entered this race, what your motivation is.
Well, my motivation to run as a candidate for Congress is that I see the country in a lot of ways taking turns that I'm not at all interested in. In some ways it has me incensed, and I'm running really to help bring back America to the people.
When did you make the decision, and tell me about the process that you went through?
Well, I had considered it 2 years ago, and it was through conversations with my wife that we didn't think it was an appropriate time 2 years ago. In fact, when we began to discuss it again this year, she didn't think it was an appropriate time. But my arguments, I guess, were more persuasive, and her irritation with the status quo had perhaps reached a level of mine. And so once she told me that it was okay with her if I went ahead and I threw my hat in the ring, then I knew I was going to do it. Just didn't know what I was going to do, didn't know how to do it. That was an adventure unto itself.
Did the conversation go outside the family at some point? Did you talk to your employer or others to see what kind of support you'd have?
Not really. I knew that I intended to run a campaign that would take no contributions and that would not in any way align me with any existing political machine.
And you say you saw the country taking turns. Talk to us a little bit about that. What in particular, your books are mentioning some of those topics, but
oh, sure they do.
What in particular?
Well, we just seem to not be able to stop spending, for one thing. But in many ways, the things that we're spending things on isn't necessarily what I would consider good ways to spend a dollar. Going from way back in 2008, which wasn't an Obama administration issue, you had the TARP bailout, as Americans seem to have liked to call it, the bailout, and I was anti-bailout. I believe in survival of the fittest, that if you can't make it, you can't make it. I would have supported some level of funding for stability, but I think whatever has been placed there has been completely mismanaged. Then you had the, I don't mean to keep talking about fiscal things, but the basically that's where a whole bunch of the issues are. And then you had what was called the stimulus, which was ultimately, the Republicans called it the porculus bill, and they were right. It was, if you look at when the spending was supposed to occur for that bill, it was to boost campaigns. It was to bring pork back to the communities so that the incumbents would benefit. And of course, despite the outcries from the public, the notion of the Tea Party uprisings, if you want to call them uprisings, quite frankly, that was a poor choice of words. Clearly, the American people were not for the recent health care bill that is nicknamed Obamacare, so that we're not thinking of it in terms of somebody else's health care bill. This, in my opinion, is a fiscal tragedy. First of all, $600 billion in taxes that somebody's going to ultimately pay. But worse than that, at least they were honest with the taxes. They spent the Social Security, $528 billion, twice. Somehow they were taking that to shore up Social Security. I'm sure you've heard the discussions about that. But in the first place, they took $528 billion out of, I beg your pardon, Medicare. If you're welcome to correct me if I say something that you know is incorrect, and you think that I know it's incorrect. That's okay. It was Medicare, $528 billion. And Medicare isn't doing that well last time I checked. And so this health care plan that has actually passed the houses of Congress is in position to give benefits to people who have never put a dime into the Medicare fund. And I don't think that seniors understand that, but I understand that. Though, you know, I certainly don't look like a senior. Let's just say I'm in the on-deck circle.
I want to talk about some of those issues in more detail, but first there might be some people out there, some readers who are going to say, why is this individual running as a Democrat? He's critical of current administration's actions, health care bailouts, energy tax legislation, the unpopular Nancy Pelosi, as you refer to her in some of your writing. Are you running in the right party?
I'm running in the party of which I have been part of all of my life. It's my opinion that the party has been hijacked. I have not been hijacked along with the party.
Why was it important for you to serve only one term? Why do you think that?
Well, you know, I've been thinking about that, and perhaps that's a wrong decision. I certainly am not interested in spending my life in Congress, so perhaps I should consider more than one term, especially as I'm looking at what happens now in the second year of Congress's term. They're running for election again. I mean, it's like in a two-year system, you don't get many opportunities to do much work. So I certainly do not want to become a career politician, but I would consider another term.